Well, hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. This is the 2025 Annual Reporting Form webinar for the Fair Chance Ordinance and the Healthcare Security Ordinance. The annual reporting form, we're also going to use the short term ARF. You're going to hear a lot about that today. So we have materials and recording which will be available for you and posted on the OLSC website after the webinar. Now, if you haven't done so already, please open the chat box. We have public announcements, helpful information such as URLs to help you, and you'll find that very helpful. Questions and answers. We also have a questions and answers box available to you in WebEx. Please open that up. And if you have any questions, please put it in that box. This is the only way you will be able to ask questions during this webinar. Now, we have staff available today to answer your questions real time, and we will get a lot of questions, so I thank you in advance for your patience because we will answer all of the questions during the presentation. And even after the presentations have concluded, we will stay on the line and answer your questions. So keep that questions and answers box open so you can see answers not only to your questions, but others' questions. Now, selected questions and answers will be posted on our website after the event, and some questions may require more information, so you may be asked to contact us. We do have live question and answer sessions. There's two times during the presentation which we'll select. Frequently asked questions, and that's at the end of the Fair Chance Ordinance presentation, and then again at the end of the Healthcare Security Ordinance presentation. So today, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Beverly Popak. I'm a supervising compliance officer, and I will be presenting the Fair Chance Ordinance information. We also have my colleague, another supervising compliance officer, Maura Prendeville, who will present on the Healthcare Security Ordinance. And we have Jay, Giselle, Kevin, and Bianca in the questions and answers box. And we also have Sally in our chat box making our public announcements. So here's an overview of what we're going to do today. This particular webinar is all about the annual reporting form. So if you need specific and detailed information about the Fair Chance Ordinance or Healthcare Security Ordinance, we have a lot of materials available for you on demand, videos, as well as materials on our website. So get that information if you need it. But today we're going to talk all about the annual reporting form, an introduction about when it's due, all of the details, where to access information, and then we're going to dive into the Fair Chance Ordinance reporting side. We'll have a frequently asked questions session for Fair Chance Ordinance related items. Then I'm going to pass it off to my colleague in the Healthcare Security Ordinance unit, Maura, to present on the Healthcare Security Ordinance. At the conclusion of the presentation, there will be a frequently asked questions session for Healthcare Security Ordinance. And as mentioned, we are going to have this questions and answers box available to you the entire time. So please feel free to go ahead and put your questions in there, and we will have answers for you. If you don't see your answers right away, it's because we do have a lot of questions. We have staff that will answer it, and we will answer your questions by the end of the webinar. So stay tuned and stick around even after the presentation is over. So let's start us off with the introduction of the ARF, the annual reporting form. The most frequently asked question is, when is the submission due? If you're a covered employer, you're required to submit the 2025 Employer Annual Reporting Form by May 1st, 2026. So you still have some time. That's good to know. Now, if you fail to submit the ARF by the deadline, you may be subject to a penalty of $500 per quarter. So when can you access the ARF? I have some great news for you. We have a soft launch and opening on this Friday, March 27th. So if you're here with us today, you can access the ARF this Friday, and you can take a look. You can also even not only access, but submit an annual report. Now, where can you do this? This is the URL that you're going to need. And if you haven't done so already, please open up the chat box. This URL is shared in the chat box so that you can save this for Friday. So click on this URL on Friday, and I'm going to show you in a few slides or so what the form and resources will look like. And this is basically it. When you click on the URL, this is what you're going to see. It's a reminder that on May 1st, that's the deadline, so please submit the form by then. There's also this blue button here. When you click on this button, you will access the actual reporting form to submit your answers. But before you do that, if you take a look on this left-hand side on the resource section, we have preview pages of everything that you will find in the annual reporting form. We do this because we would like you to prepare in advance your answers to submit into the system. You can take a look at the entire form, which includes the Fair Chance Ordinance and the Healthcare Security Ordinance questions. Or if you just want to take a look at the Fair Chance Ordinance questions, you can also look at that too. Now, those are the preview pages, and if you take a look in the very center here, there are instructions. We have instructions for you to view, to understand everything we have to do with the questions. And then on the right-hand side, this is where we will have our webinar that you are attending today. It's going to be recorded and posted here, so you can access this again. You can also view these slides that you're seeing right here on the second bullet point. And then, based on the questions you're asking us in the questions and answers box, we're going to select some questions and answers from today's webinar and put it in a document to share with everyone here. So this will be available to you on Friday, the 27th of March. And again, this is the button to look for. Submit your 2025 annual reporting form to start the entire reporting process. And here's a close-up of the resources I mentioned, where you have the preview pages, the instructions, and of course, the video guide with companion slides and selected questions and answers from today's webinar that you're participating in. So what will you need to complete the form? You're really going to need to have answers to the questions we have on the report. And you need to use that PDF copy of the annual report to view all your questions, gather answers to the questions for the Fair Chance and Healthcare Security Ordinance sections as they are applicable, and go in there to the report on Friday, and you can submit your responses. Another thing you're going to need is your 7-digit San Francisco business account number. Now, there are multiple ways to find your business account number. The first way is it can be found on your business registration certificate, or some people know it as the business license. It's issued by the San Francisco Treasurer and Tax Collector's Office. If you don't know where that is, no worries. Look at number 2. You can search for this business account number on this website. And this link, the URL to search, is also in the system in the form, so you can search it when you're in there. If you do not have your business registration certificate, you don't know your business account number. Now, we are going to send you, our office, the Office of Labor Standards Enforcement, will send you a letter, and you'll get it probably by April 1st with information about the ARF, and it will list your 7-digit business account number. Now, I understand that sometimes the address that you have at the Treasurer and Tax Collector's office might be different from the folks who are actually filling out the report. So coordinate internally with your staff to get this information, or simply look up your business account number on this data website. Now, some things to keep in mind. Now, if your business account number is only 6 digits, you need to add a 0 to the beginning of the number. It needs to be 7 digits long, otherwise you're not going to move forward in the system. And if you don't have a business account number, please visit the Office of the Treasurer and Tax Collector's website to register your business as soon as possible. And I'm going to point out that our department, the Office of Labor Standards Enforcement, is a different department from the Office of the Treasurer and Tax Collector. Please, you need to go there to that office directly to register your business and to ask any questions about perhaps the name of the business, addresses, things like that. They manage all of that, and you need to go directly to them if you have any questions specific. We don't have your business account number, so if you don't know what that is and you're having difficulty looking that up, you're going to have to contact the Treasurer and Tax Collector's office, and the Office of Labor Standards Enforcement cannot grant extensions for completing the form because a business has not yet obtained a business account number. Now, moving on to number 4 here, if you are a control group of multiple entities, if you're submitting on behalf of a control group, enter the business account number for any one of those entities. And if this is you, please make sure you note and write down the business account number that you're using. If you have multiple business account numbers. This is very important that you keep a paper record because maybe you submit the information and you think you're all good, you're fine, but the very next day you're thinking, oh, you know what? I need to do a resubmission, and you're going to have to use the same business account number to do that. And this is really what I'm talking about. If you need to correct or resubmit your annual reporting form, you can do so, but you'll need to know and use the same business registration account number to make this work, to correct and to resubmit. Now, this is another frequently asked question that we get. Can you look up my submission or report? No. The Office of Labor Standards Enforcement can't look up your submission and report. We advise you to, number 1, plan ahead. So look at the questions, plan your answers, and then as you're filling out the form, ensure that you are going along with the plan, or you know how you're answering and you have a copy of that. Okay? Now, some other helpful information. The form can only be completed and submitted in the continental United States. So if you have offices or staff members outside of the continental United States who say, well, I'm going to fill it out, I'll fill out this form, this report, they will not be able to do that. So please be advised, there will be an error message, and people outside of the continental United States will not be able to access the form. So let's take a look at the introduction questions and instructions for the ARF. You can access the ARF in multiple ways. We already shared with you this URL, which is the biggie, where you can submit the ARF, you can look at the resources, the video, and all of that. But just in case you lose that URL in a few days, you can find that page and a link to that page by going to the Fair Chance Ordinance webpage, the Healthcare Security Ordinance webpage, and you can always start at the OLSC website and navigate from there. Again, this is what it looks like. This is the page that will be available on March 27th. Now, we get this question a lot. Do I have to fill out the ARF? And this is the great part about the ARF. If you fill out the simple questions that's on our introduction page, you will know an answer very quickly if you actually have to fill out the annual reporting form. Because employers who are not covered by the Fair Chance Ordinance and the Healthcare Security Ordinance will be directed to a web page indicating that they do not need to complete the 2025 Employer Annual Reporting Form. Now, if you're not covered by these laws, you do not need to notify us, the city, or our department, and no further action is required. So this is what the introduction page looks like. It's 4 short questions. And for all of this information, 2025, we are using the calendar year of 2025, January 1st, 2025 to December 31st, 2025. So we're in 2026, so take a look at last year's information. Now, if you're not required to file a report, this is the message you will see after filling out the introduction questions. And then there's nothing else to do, no further actions required. You don't have to notify us. You can take a screenshot for your records, but other than that, you're basically done. Now, for most of us here, you're probably going to have to file a report. So let's say you filled out those introductory questions and you don't see that specific message. You will come to this page, a Getting Started page. And this will say, it says here, based on your answers to the introductory questions, you must complete the 2025 Employer Annual Reporting Form. Again, the due date, submit the form by Friday, May 1st, 2026 at midnight. And you will have links to instructions, and of course, you will have this link here to look up your business account number if you don't know that. Once you have your business account number, you enter it here into the space, and then you must click Validate. Once you click Validate, it will ask you, it will show you information about a business name. If that's not your business name, you need to restart and ensure that you've entered the correct business account number. And once you see that you've entered that business account number, it matches up with your name, you can continue into this particular form. Now here's a little look into how you can look up your business account number and what this website looks like. You can see here on this second column on the left, it says business account number, and these are the numbers or the number that you'll look for yourself. Please make sure, and if you read over to the right, the ownership name, your doing business as name, and the street address match up to what you know. So here we go, back to getting started. Once you enter that information, you make sure that the information you entered with the business account number, the name, and the address is all there, and you continue. You'll come to this particular page, and you're going to confirm again. Now, for companies filing on behalf of several entities in the same control group, you need to check off this box here, and then you can click on the next button. And that will bring you to the Fair Chance Ordinance questions. So let's look at the Fair Chance Ordinance, and this is the first part of the report we can look at here. Employers without city contracts, if you're just operating in the city and county of San Francisco, you are covered, meaning you have to comply with the Fair Chance Ordinance if you have 5 or more employees anywhere in the world. It doesn't matter where you're headquartered. You could be headquartered internationally, another part of the country. If you have 5 employees or more anywhere in the world, and you have employees or planned positions in San Francisco, and these positions are where the employee works at least 8 hours per week in San Francisco, you are a covered employer. Now, if you're a contractor or a supplier, meaning a person, persons, a firm, corporation, combination thereof, who enters into a contract with the city and county of San Francisco, has a lease with the city and county of San Francisco, you are covered regardless of size. So you're covered there. And then so now that you know who's covered, we always get this question, what if I'm covered under the Fair Chance Ordinance but not under the Healthcare Security Ordinance? And this is possible. So nonprofits with 20 to maybe 49 employees, or city contractors, city suppliers with less than 20 employees, that might be you. You are covered under the Fair Chance Ordinance, but not under the Healthcare Security Ordinance. And the system is smart. The form is smart. You will be directed to report on the Fair Chance Ordinance only. So not to worry about that. The system will send you to the right place. Now, this is what the Fair Chance Ordinance report looks like. This is the first 4 questions. And what I want to do is I want to go through each question with you and just give you some helpful information. So the first question, in 2025, and that's January 1st, 2025 to December 31st, 2025, how many employees did your company hire to work in San Francisco? Please include telecommuters in San Francisco, which means they live in San Francisco. Remember that the covered employees that we're wondering, we're looking for and asking about are people who work 8 hours a week in San Francisco. If they work less than 8 hours a week in San Francisco, they're not covered, and you shouldn't respond with their information. Now, please include part-time, temporary, seasonal, as well as telecommuters who work within the geographic boundaries of San Francisco. Now, moving on to question 2. During 2025, did your company's employment application for jobs in San Francisco, including online applications, ask about arrest or conviction records? This is a yes or no question, so just report on what you did. And you know, this is something to remember to look for. And if you're not sure, you're going to have to ask perhaps folks that were involved in hiring. Next question. In 2025, did your company or business conduct criminal background checks for any applicants before making a conditional offer of employment? So the answer is either yes or no. And again, I realize that you are filling out this report, but you may not have the answers. So please go ahead and find these answers before you start this particular report. Number 4, the Fair Chance Ordinance also prohibits covered employers from ever considering the following at any time. And here's it's a long list here. It's listed on the report in the system. And here again, this is where your preview of the questions for the ARF will help you. We just want to know if you inquired in 2025 about any of the above, and the answer is yes or no. Now, these are the last 3 questions. There's only 7 questions for the Fair Chance Ordinance. This is what the form looks like. And let's dive into number 5. In 2025, did your company hire anyone with a conviction history? So the possible answers, yes, no, don't know. Number 6, is your business exempt from any of the Fair Chance Ordinance's provisions, either because you're required to conduct background checks under state or federal law, or because your employees are drivers or work with children, seniors, or other disabled adults? So it's a yes or no, and there is right here this blue more information link that you can click on there, where if you wanted to get a little bit more information, you can click on it, and I'll show you what that looks like. But before we go there, if you're exempt from the Fair Chance Ordinance, you probably would know, and your hiring department would know, because perhaps you work under a contract or you're in an industry where the state or the federal government requires you to conduct background checks. So that's the information you're seeking. We want to know, is your business exempt? And then if you say, yes, we are exempt, this drop-down choice will appear. So perhaps you're part of one of these industries. These are the most common. But if an industry that you're in is not on this list, you would just choose other. Okay? Now here's number 7. What is the highest number of employees your business had in any quarter of 2025? And remember, you'll only have to answer this question if you do not have to submit the Healthcare Security Ordinance data. You need to count all the employees in the world. Those are the people outside of San Francisco. Please count the people inside San Francisco as well. Everyone in the world, San Francisco is included. And then you can select from the drop-down menu, which you will see here as your particular mode of answering this question. Now here's some helpful information about where you can find the Fair Chance Ordinance webpage. Perhaps you're watching this video and attending this webinar and you're like, oh, I need more information about the Fair Chance Ordinance. This is where you would get it at the FCO webpage. We have recorded webinars and information about the Fair Chance Ordinance, and this is our direct email address, fco@sfgov.org. Where you can contact the Fair Chance Ordinance Unit. And of course, you can always find the Fair Chance Ordinance Unit and information about all of our different ordinances at the Office of Labor Standards Enforcement's website. Now, if you have to speak to someone because you have questions and you're not sure, you can communicate with us about the ARF in 2 different ways. Directly on the phone. This is the phone number, or via email. Now, my recommendation is to choose one method and give staff time to respond and contact you, because we have different teams and it's not a great use of resources, inefficient if an employer were to call and email and you would get a call and an email back from 2 different staff members. So please just be patient. This is the busiest time of the year for us because we do have a lot of questions that come in, and more than likely you will have to leave a message. That doesn't mean that we're not working, so please just leave us a message with your name, your number, and maybe a little bit about your question, okay? Now, if you haven't done so already, open up your questions and answers box. Submit those questions about the Fair Chance Ordinance, introduction questions in that box. Staff will answer your questions during this webinar. And then again, selected questions and answers will be posted on our website after the event. So now I'm going to hand this off to my colleague, Maura. Hey, Maura.
Hi, thank you, Beverly. Good morning, everybody. Let me share my screen here.
Maura, it's already shared.
Oh.
Maura, can you drive the slides?
Yeah, hold on a second. Hold on a moment. It's not letting me. There we go. Are you seeing this correctly, everybody?
Yeah, everyone can see the employer annual reporting form for 2025.
Perfect. Okay, so we're going to go over who has to cover report on this part. So who is covered by the Healthcare Security Ordinance? It's employers who have 20 or more workers worldwide, or nonprofit employers with 50 or more workers worldwide. So this is the same as what Beverly was saying earlier. Hold on a moment.
Beverly and Maura, we're getting a lot of comments.
Yeah, okay. Can somebody else just do the hosting and I'll say click next because it's not working for me.
Sure. Hold on one second. I'm going to pull this back and I think I can do this. Here you go. Just tell me next slide.
Okay, so we're on who's covered by the HCSO. Again, for-profit employers with 20 or more workers worldwide and nonprofits with 50 or more workers worldwide. Like Beverly was saying, we're doing a global count. So we're not just looking at workers in San Francisco, we're looking at the size, the global size of the organization or the company. The HCSO requires that healthcare expenditures be made for San Francisco employees only at a certain hourly rate. And that is not something we're going to discuss today. What we're going to be discussing today is the requirement that the employers file this annual report. Big picture, I know sometimes people find the word report intimidating, but this is basically just an overall snapshot of your compliance. If you are not familiar with the HCSO and what it requires and what the spending rates are, this is not the correct webinar for you. We have our monthly compliance webinar coming up on April 7th. If you have never heard of this ordinance before, you should start there before you start worrying about the annual report. So before you're filling out the report, you should be comfortable with understanding what the HCSO is, and you should be comfortable with how your organization complied with it last year. So this is not the time where you go look and figure out, oh, did we comply or did we not? You already complied and you're just telling us how you did that. Sometimes people ask us, well, we've been contributing to the SF City Option Program, so don't you already know how much we've spent? The answer is no. There are many different ways to comply with the HCSO, and a lot of employers use a variety of different ways or a combination of different ways. So even if you have a city option account and you've been making quarterly contributions, you probably also have health insurance, and we want to know how much you spent on that. Next slide. So we've got several resources available to you. Again, the reporting form resource page is not available right this second. It will be available after the webinar. So I know we've gotten a lot of questions about that. You're clicking on the link. Yes, it's not up yet because it will be available after we're done this morning. That page will have a PDF preview of the full form so you can see all the questions in advance and prepare your answers. It will have the instructions. And then if you have specific questions about the ordinance itself, we've got our regular resource page there. Next slide. So before you begin, as Beverly mentioned, you cannot save the form and return to it later. You have to do it all at once. So we recommend that you use the PDF preview to look at all the questions, prep your answers, and then go in and submit it. And again, as mentioned before, it's not always available to people outside of the continental US. So if you have a colleague that is in the continental US, they should do the filing, not you. Next slide. So what information will you need? Again, as Beverly mentioned, you will need your SF business account number. You will also want to know how many employees worked in San Francisco. So that includes people who work remotely in San Francisco. We'll cover that again a little bit later. And you also need to know what types of healthcare expenditures your organization made on behalf of its San Francisco employees. For example, how much did you spend on health insurance? What type of health insurance plans did you have? We don't need particular names. We're not asking for Blue Shield versus Kaiser. When we say what types of health insurance, we want to know if it's fully funded or self-funded. Did you make dental or vision insurance payments towards your employees? Did you make city option payments towards your employees? Do any of your health plans have a health savings account attached to it? And if so, did you contribute to that for your San Francisco employees? Those are the types of data points that you're going to want to be able to fill out this report. Next slide. So Beverly's shown you this one before because you do this for FCO also, but we want to know the overall business size. Again, this is a global count. So global count per quarter, we don't need exact numbers, we just need a range. So these are specific ranges. Most people on this webinar are going to hit 100 or more. That is your overall business size. Next page. So again, it's worldwide size. If the number fluctuates, then you want to look at the average of the 13 weeks of the quarter. And you are including everyone that works for you, full-time people, part-time people, regardless of their geographic location. How big is your company or organization? That's what's being requested in the first question. Next slide. Now, after that, you are asked, how many employees did you have that were covered by the HCSO? Who is covered by the HCSO? This is not going to be your global count. This is going to be a much smaller group. This is going to be the next slide, the employees who were entitled to healthcare spending in 2025. The employees who were entitled to healthcare spending last year are the ones who worked at least 8 hours a week in San Francisco. Again, if they work remotely from home and their home is in San Francisco, they worked in San Francisco. Employees who were employed for at least 90 calendar days. And there are some limited exemptions, but they're pretty small and they're not worth going into in this reporting webinar. So basically you're safe to operate under the assumption that most or all of your San Francisco employees are going to fit the definition of a covered employee. So that's what we're asking for in that second question. How many people do you have working in San Francisco in the last calendar year? Next slide. Then the next question you're going to be asked is, what did you spend on those employees? And we're not asking for the global healthcare spending. We're asking how much did you spend on the San Francisco group of employees that you have? One thing that can trip people up is it will give you an error if you type in punctuation, dollar signs, periods, commas, anything like that. It will give you an error message. So just type in whole numbers. And again, it's asking for your quarterly spend. So if you're a seasonal employer, maybe you spend a lot during certain quarters and then you spend very little during other quarters. Maybe you have a white-collar workforce that works full-time all year round and you have the same spending all year round. You're going to just give your average quarterly expenditures here. And then you're going to just hit a checkbox. So you don't have to necessarily divide up how much you spent on each of your 6 different health plans. We just want to know the total dollar amount that you spent on the San Francisco group. You can check, most large employers are going to be checking various boxes here because you're going to have various different types of healthcare expenditures. Some employers might even have all of these types of expenditures. That's fine. Next slide. What you're going to be looking at is the combined quarterly total for everything. So insurance, city option payments, health and welfare contributions, if you make those, if you have a unionized workforce, health savings accounts, whatever you're spending on, we just want the total dollar amount, except for any amounts spent by employees. So if employees are sharing the cost of their health insurance, that's fine, but their expenditures don't count towards the employer's expenditures. So you may need to back those out or just make sure not to include them. And again, you don't need to break down the dollar amount for each category. We just want to know the total dollar amount spent and the different types of expenditures that you made. If you do have any insurance plans that were self-funded, those ones are the only ones that are not included in the quarterly count. So for those ones, you're going to check off the self-funded box and you can type in the hourly amount of the self-funded plans in other. And hopefully, if you are a self-funded employer, you have already attended our self-funded calculation webinar and made your top-off payments at the end of February. And so you've already done all the math, you've already done all the work, you just need to type it in. Next slide. Surcharges. This will not apply to most industries, but this is asking that if you did impose a surcharge on customers or clients in 2025, we want to know how much you collected and how it was spent. So basically, You know, we see this very frequently with sometimes restaurants or sometimes staffing agencies or security or janitorial companies might pass on a surcharge to its customers, and we just want to know how much you collected, how did you spend it, and how did you phrase the surcharge language to your customers. Next slide. Again, for most of you, most industries, surcharges are not necessarily a thing, and so if you're not on a surcharge, you would just hit no and move on. Next slide. Oh.
Is this a slide, Maura?
Surcharge? Surcharge 2 of 2, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. And then when we're asking, so most of you are going to hit no and move on. If you do have a surcharge, you're going to enter the dollar amount that you collected, and then what type of language did you use to communicate that to your customers? All right, next slide, certification. In this one, you just certified that you are the authorized representative of your organization, and you can put your name, contact information, and you hit submit. We definitely want you to double check your email, check your spam box, because you should get a confirmation email from our office once you've submitted it. So please double check that you're giving us the correct email address and that our confirmation does not end up in your spam. And again, as Beverly said, if you realize later that you need to make a correction, you have to just resubmit it. You can't go in and amend it. So that's why we suggest you have your answers ready ahead of time and written down somewhere so that you can make adjustments later if you need to start it over. All right, next slide. Troubleshooting. Again, you can resubmit the form, but not edit it. If you do resubmit it, what our office works off when we're reviewing it is the most recent one. So if you realize I made some mistakes, I had to submit it 3 times, the third one is the one that we would save in our files. And most importantly, this question comes up throughout the year, but more frequently at this time of year. If doing this reporting has made you realize that you're out of compliance with the HCSO and you realize, oh my gosh, we weren't aware of this law, we weren't spending in 2025, we didn't spend enough in 2025, and we're just realizing that now, please call our office. We can talk you through how to fix it. That does not mean you need to address it before the reporting form is due, but we will give you instructions. We will talk to you about the size and scope of the problem and give you instructions. It is much better for you to contact us than for us to contact you. So if you have made a mistake, we can advise you about how to fix it. It's better than us calling you later and saying, hey, it looks like you didn't have the correct amount of spending or you didn't have any spending. And at that point, you could end up being audited. So we would rather have you alert us to any issues and we can, again, talk to you about how to remedy it. And if you have that issue or questions about the ARF, next slide. Who do you call? This is our main phone number. This is our email address. And again, as Beverly said, this is our busiest time of year. So if you don't get a question answered immediately, please don't just continue to call and call and call and call. Just wait, we will call you back. It's best for us to have one question, one answer instead of multiple people calling back at the same time. So we do get very busy, but we are fully staffed and we will answer any questions as soon as possible. And now if we have time, we can go to the next slide for any HCSO questions. I know the staff has been going through all the Q&A in the question box. I will open it up to Kevin or Bianca. If there's anything that keeps coming up over and over that you think I should answer verbally, I'm happy to do that. Otherwise, we will continue to answer the questions that pop up for as long as we can.